There is a moment every man experiences that hits deeper than rejection. It's not when she argues. It's not when she complains. It's when she goes quiet, when the messages slow down, when the warmth disappears, when you can feel her pulling away but she never explains why. That silence triggers panic in most men. They replay conversations. They send long messages. They try to fix things that were never clearly broken. They push for reassurance. And without realizing it, they do the exact thing that drives her even further away. Female psychology responds very differently to pressure than male psychology. When a woman distances herself, she is not looking for pursuit. She is not testing how hard you will chase. She is processing emotions internally, often without fully understanding them herself. And the more you press, the more she retreats. Most men believe the solution is communication. Explain your intentions. Clarify your feelings. Prove you care. But when a woman emotionally pulls back, logic does not reach her. Words do not pull her closer. Energy does. The one thing that changes everything is this: you stop reacting, not out of anger, not out of pride, but out of emotional control. You give her space without resentment. You do not announce it. You do not threaten distance. You simply shift your focus back to your own life and stop feeding the emotional imbalance. This confuses her in a way chasing never will. When a woman distances herself, she expects one of two reactions. Either you chase, plead, and try to pull her back, or you become cold, passive-aggressive, and emotionally reactive. Both responses confirm something in her mind, that she controls the emotional frame. When you do neither, the dynamic breaks. Silence from a man who is emotionally stable feels different. It doesn't feel bitter. It doesn't feel needy. It doesn't feel like punishment. It feels calm. And calm creates uncertainty in her mind. Female psychology is deeply attuned to emotional shifts. When you stop chasing and stop reacting, her nervous system notices immediately. She begins wondering what changed. Not because she wants attention, but because the emotional feedback loop she relied on is gone. Here's what most men misunderstand. Distance from a woman is often about her emotions, not your value. She may feel overwhelmed, conflicted, emotionally overloaded, or unsure about her feelings. Pulling away is how she regains internal control. When you chase her during this phase, you add pressure to confusion. Pressure does not create clarity. It creates avoidance. But when you step back calmly, something powerful happens. Her emotions finally have room to surface. She can feel what she feels without your energy interfering. And that's when her true feelings reveal themselves. This is not a manipulation tactic. It's emotional self-respect. You're not trying to scare her. You are not trying to teach her a lesson. You are simply refusing to abandon your own emotional center to chase someone who stepped away. A woman respects emotional stability far more than emotional availability. Availability feels common. Stability feels rare. When you stop over-explaining, over-messaging, and overthinking, you shift the power back into balance. She begins to feel the absence of your emotional presence. Not in a dramatic way, in a quiet, unsettling way. And quiet is where women reflect. Many men think women pull away because they want less connection. Often the opposite is true. They pull away because the connection feels heavy, predictable, or emotionally overwhelming. By stepping back, you remove that weight. Now the interaction feels lighter, safer, less pressured, and paradoxically, more attractive. There is another psychological layer most men never see. When you remain calm and grounded while she distances herself, you communicate something without words. You show that your identity does not collapse when her attention fluctuates. You show emotional independence, and emotional independence triggers respect. Respect is the foundation of desire. Without it, attraction cannot survive. If she cares about you, your calm distance creates curiosity. If she was unsure, it gives her space to miss you. If she was losing interest, it accelerates the truth instead of dragging it out. And that is strength. Men are taught to fight for connection at all costs, but sometimes the strongest move is to stop fighting entirely. Not because you don't care, but because caring without boundaries destroys attraction. When you pull back gracefully, you reclaim your masculine frame. You are no longer reacting to her emotions. You are responding to your own values. This does something important inside her. It forces her to confront her feelings without distraction. She can no longer blame pressure. She can no longer blame intensity. She has to ask herself a simple question. Do I want him, or don't I? Chasing delays that answer. Silence reveals it. Another mistake men make is filling the gap with explanations. They explain why they're giving space, they announce boundaries, they try to sound mature. But explanation kills the effect. Emotion responds to behavior, not speeches. You don't disappear dramatically, you don't block her, you don't play games. You simply stop investing more than you're receiving. Your replies become calm, not rushed. Your tone becomes neutral, not reactive. Your life continues without commentary. This tells her you are centered, and centered men are hard to ignore. If she reaches out, you respond normally. Not cold, not overeager, just present. If she doesn't, you don't chase silence. This is where most men fail. They think giving space means emotional withdrawal. It doesn't. It means emotional discipline. You are still warm, still respectful, still open, but no longer dependent on her validation. And that shift changes everything. Women are deeply sensitive to emotional polarity. When a man becomes grounded instead of reactive, the polarity returns. She feels feminine again instead of overwhelmed. She feels curiosity instead of pressure. She feels space instead of suffocation. Sometimes she comes back softer. Sometimes she reaches out slowly. Sometimes she tests the connection again. And sometimes she doesn't return at all. But here's the truth most men don't want to hear. If she doesn't return, chasing would not have saved it anyway. Your calm distance protects your dignity regardless of the outcome. There is nothing more attractive than a man who does not abandon himself for attention. Nothing more powerful than emotional self-control. Nothing more masculine than choosing peace over panic. When a woman distances herself, she is watching how you handle uncertainty. Do you collapse? Do you beg? Do you pressure? Or do you remain steady? That answer tells her everything she needs to know. The one thing you do is simple, but not easy. You step back without bitterness. You focus forward instead of inward. You let her feel the absence of your emotional energy without punishment or explanation. And in doing so, you protect your value whether she stays or goes. Because a man who remains grounded in silence is never powerless. He is simply no longer chasing what stepped away. And that, more than words, more than effort, more than reassurance, is what changes the dynamic completely.